Alright, Section 3, Fastners, Hardware and Adhesive, Nail Types and Uses, Nail Selection, Nailing Tips, Concrete Masonry Nails, Screw Application, Nuts and Bolts, Attaching Hollow Surfaces, Attaching Solid Surfaces, Hinges, Door Hardware, Door and Cabinet Hardware, Screen and Storm Door Hardware, Miscellaneous Adhesives. Alright, nail types. You have your common nail, finishing nail, casting nail, cut flooring nail, annular, ringing nail, spring nail, spiral nails, square shank, concrete nails, common brands, tacks, upholstery nails, rounding nails, setting rounding, roofing nails, double hex nail, barb, dowel pin, corrugated fastener, and staples. Alright, nail size is the designation in inches of the tube of the pencil size and is also known as penny size. The term is originally related to the price of the per hundred, now signifies only length. Nails are made in wide range of length and types. Common nails, for example, available to lengths of 1 inch, 2 or 2 penny, abbreviated 2D, to 6 inches or 60 penny. Acceptance, special purpose nail diameter increases the width and length. 6-inch common nails is nearly 4 times the diameter of 4-inch nails. Special purpose nails, however, that may come in only one size, as flooring, brads, doing, for example, several lengths, but only single diameter ones, as some shingle nails do, depending on their purpose. Driving nails. Nails should be driven in a rule through a thinner piece of wood, and a thicker one. Nail should be 3 times as long as the thickness of the thin piece through which it passes. 2/3 of the nail when the thicker piece is for maximum holding power. To get the best holding power of the nails and driver's angles slanting toward away from each other, they cannot pull without bending. In some cases, driving through the bolt piece with the bending of the clinch of the protruding ends of the flat against the wood. You're also a great holding from nails and ship, spiral shafts, angular rings. Many of the holding power approximate grips of screws. Nail heads are another part of the selection story. Large heads hold because of the spread load over the wide area, resulting in a pull through the heads of the finishing of the nails. Conversely, pull through the wood quite readily. There are sometimes welcome weakness out of the shown because of the trim and the cabinet work to disassemble the pulling through of the nail heads with minimum surface marring. Quantity of buying. When buying, when nails are regularly speeded with the roof of the laying floors are available, the quantity of air with the buying with a known of the chart per pound inside of the required. The chart right provides pound figures of some of the more widely used nail type. The harder the hardware, your hardware dealer usually gives you the count of the type of the carries in stock. To avoid running short, always allow about 10% more than what you expect to need for a job. Any of the surplus of the work shop assortment. Metals and surfaces. Special purpose of the nails with varying with the application. Copper and aluminum nails vary. For example, with eliminate with the rust and corrosion nails for such applications. Roofing, boat, building are more to copper and brass, bronze, model, stainless steel, and galvanized of the choice, depending on the intended for use and drive the types of the not in stock that can usually be ordered. Nailing tips. Basic procedure. The extent of the hammer feel with the comfortable when swinging it, and it can cleanly smudge on in the fourth face of the transfer of the end inevitably to the work. You should bend the nail in the driving and you should bend the nail when driving it in. Place the thick block of screw work under the hammer, held it protect with the work from pulling the nail. Check the thicker blocks to extra leverage at the finish. To drive a nail, hold it upright with the wood between the thumb and the forefinger. The left hand of the hammer, hammer to near the end of the handle with the right with the hand on the tap of the don't bang nail a few times to drive it just far enough to stand right up by itself with the nail standing up, the fingers away, but swing the hammer a little harder, but only a little bit. Not use usually a heavy strokes until the nail is about an inch into the wood. Glancing blow can send with a ricocheting and very possible injury to you. If you're driving common nails with a rough work, such as the house framing and the drive the heads of the into flush with the surface of the do not bother with the carefully with the hammer marks the driving finishing nails work with the when appearance Counts stop when the head is just above the surface, and sink the nail set with the illustrations. When you work the hardened nails mask, many modern floor and special purposes type that are hardened always wear goggles. So nails sometimes break instead of bending. The goggles will protect your eyes against flying pieces. When nails are driven close to the end of the piece, you'll avoid slipping several ways. You can drill pilot holes slightly smaller than the nails, and some of the holding power is acceptable of you can build in the nail point, holding on it, and with a hammer and head is on a solid surface of the blunt point should appear on the wood fibers instead of wedging them apart, reducing chance of splitting. Selecting the proper nail. Masonry nails are round and square and fluted with a hardened and tempered steel. They often use the fasten frame parts such as ceilings, referring in windows, the door trim to the masonry concrete. Nails usually driven directly into the concrete block walls, poured concrete floors, driving it into the very hard concrete. However, the many require pilot holes. Drill another part of the fasten into the masonry hole to make sure the holes line up. Most conventional tool of the carbide tip bit into the power drill with the drill diameter specification are not available to always use the bit smaller with the nail diameter. So the nail will be able to bit into the masonry. The smooth surface of the nail will develop the maximum holding power. Use heavy-duty nails driving the masonry of the concrete without a pilot hole where many nails are driven away in the concrete stub. The nails are often used. Though these drive quickly and heavy-duty, the 2-3 pound hammer, the hard heads can dent the hammer surface, risking breakage and impairing its usefulness. Generally, use masonry nails, the high load not imposed with the fastening following chart with the bellow with the length to drive and the head flush with the surface of the part with the fasten, but they do not continue pounding on a better grip. This will only loosen the nail into its hole. Driving the nail on the back brick rather risky. Brick is much harder than concrete and is apt to split. Your best bet too is drill a pilot hole with either a carbide tip drill with a star drill or a star drill. Page 77. Warning: masonry nails very hard, and they tend to break rather than bend. So always wear goggles. Shows the round, the square, and the fluted masonry nails on the side. Alright, where to use your screws? Use the screws you need with the greater holding power that the nails can provide with the fastener parts, and may later be with the taken apart. But the most common form of screws, it is the slotted type of the cross-headed screws, cross-headed slot, such as Phillips, Wright, and Red Price. Reduce chance of screwdriver slipping and wiring in part work with a 2 screwdriver, the handling using range of Phillips screws and single screwdriver size of drills, all sizes of the Reed Prince screws. Thread and forming cutting screws. Screws that make their own threads are 2 basic types. Thread forming using for sheet metal, and thread cutting heavier metal to cut through a head main part of the screw with real sword over the bolt rather than a screw. Both are made variety of special forms, almost all widely used, and because they have versatility, they are shown below and settle screws according to the job done of the material which they are used. Shows a panhead with blunt end, a round-headed partial tapping, round-headed self-tapping, and then it shows the flat-headed an oval-headed and a round-headed, dome-headed, and Phillips-headed, one-way express, dowel screw, hanger bolt, and lag bolt. Screw sizes. Screw sizes are measured with the bolt length of the diameter. Length of the designated inch of the diameter. Greater number of the general screws are available than approximate gauge 0, about 1/16 of an inch, 3/24, approximately 1/2 an inch, 3/8 of an inch. Lengths are vary from 1/4 inch up to 6 inches. Most commonly available screws are numbers from 2 through 16. Requires a large gauge screw that you may have to place a special order. Select screw length of at least 2/3 of the screw length in the base material to which you are fastening. If you're unable to screw to go to work, you must first make a pilot hole. This can be done with an awl. First screw up the 9 number screws up to number 6 gauge. Large screws use a drill bit that is at least 2 sizes smaller than the thread diameter. Working with a hardwood, if working with large diameter screws in the work that is subject to splitting, drill both pilot hole and a clearance hole for the screw shank. Clearance holes should be the same diameter as the shank in the drill, of the 1/3 length of the screw. When installing the screw in new work, lubricate the threads and the soap with the wax. Alright, screw washers. Washers are either the unscrew heads of some of the wooden work application provide adding, bearing surface of the void, marring of the wood when the removal is necessary, as in opening cabinet panels to gain access to inner parts. Stereo cabinets are typically example. Washers should be matched to screw diameter head as some head type is flat, countersunk flush, flat, countersunk flush. Screw hooks are made to specifically purpose cup hook. For example, the fit of the shop cap that assure of the uniform extension where the hooks are used to enrobe the ordinary screw hook. Use the hang tool of the utensils. Short pointed to make insertions easily driven into the depth required. Eye and ring combination. Take the snap hook right hooks and leashes. The common screw eye is formed in a single piece. Greater strength with the cast of the form types also available. Square bend screw hook is often used to support curtain rods in the kitchen and hanger pots or utensils. So it's a cup hook, screw hook eye, and ring screw eye, and square bending screw hook. Screwing application in general. The screws are preferable to enable the fastening wood to make a tighter joint. If the joint is screwed together, it can make it taken apart without damage. With the pilot hole, the screw will never split with the wood as the nail can. When two pieces of the wood are being joined with the screw, the clearance hole of the wood through which the screw first passes should pass the shank without binding. Pilot holes in the second piece should be just as a hole in which the screw thread can be bite. With the clearance hole of the screw will not be together to draw when the two pieces of wood together. Bolt size and threading. Bolts are generally defined as fastener used with nut and tightened by turning the nut. Machine bolts are threaded with available the coarse or fine thread, coarses being more common than the threads of the side of the bolt. Determine the number of the threads per inch for the designated with the number following the bolt diameter. The diameter is given in fraction of the inch of the 1/4 inch. 20 bolt would be a 1/4 inch in diameter with 20 threads of the 2 inch. Bolt size ordinarily range from 1/8 to 40 to 1.5 by 13 layer lengths of 3/8 of inch to 6 inches. Machine bolt diameters range from 1/4 inch to as large as 2 inches. Lengths from 1/2 inch to 30 inches. Larger size, but generally stocked by most hardware dealers. Carriage bolts are made from the coarse threads and are available in lengths of 1/2 inch to 10 inches and diameters to 3/16 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch. The average hardware store does not stock the very large size. Square section under the head of the carriage bolt sink into the wood, preventing rotation over the bolt. When used, the nut is tightened. This makes it possible to tighten the nut within the bolt is not accessible using washer between the nut and the wood. Shows washer, flat washer, spring lock washer, inner tool, external tool, hex nut, jam nut, square nut, field square nut, wing nut, castle nut, lock nut, cap nut, curl nut. Alright, attaching heavy objects. Heavy picture frames and mirrors, storage, bookcases, shelves also that will hold heavy books and magazines are supported by means of cross member bridge studs. Use number 14 screws or lag bolts to secure cross member to studs. Locate the studs, tapping, and better still, probe before the stud within a 1/4 inch drill before drilling the pilot holes for the screws. Studs are generally 16 inch apart, measured from center to center. How to use drill tools. The easiest way to drill holes with the fastening into the concrete or the brick with a cabbard type bit. 1/2 inch drill. Average 1/4 inch drill runs too fast for use of these builds. If you have to drill large holes, it's best to start off with a small bit at 3/16 to a 1/4 inch, then go to large size. Hand drilling also possible for this with the need of heavy hammer. With need a heavy hammer and drill. The star drill is the drill used for making holes in the masonry. Raw drill shown and at the top of the page is short and light duty star drill. The cutting end of the fluted in 4 corners stars. The gloves and grass drilled near the center. Wear goggles too when during this work. After each hammer blow, the drill shall be rotated slightly, even every so often. Blow out the dust and continue until the desired depth is reached. Hinges. General information. Hinges for use of the cabinets of the chest of the reversible. This is mounted right inside up to the well as upside down. Many door hinges, however, are not reversible. They must be in the correct hand. If it is loosened pin hinge, for example, the pin must be positioned so that it can be removed from the top. Also, some of the doors can be removed by lifting them from their hinges. Obviously, if the hinges were mounted upside down, the door would fall out of its hinges. The door hinges are specified, therefore, right hand or left hand to determine the hand of the hinge, determine which is outside of the door, the corridor size of the interior door. When you're outstanding on the outside of the door opens from you to the right, it's a right-handed hinge. If it opens to your left, it's a left-handed hinge. But the door is open towards your left if the left hand is reverse door, and the right hand hinges. If the door opens towards you, your right is right-handed reverse and takes to the left-hand hinges. Door hardware. Type of use of the door hardware includes hinges, locks, latches, straps, closers, holders, knobs, chains, peepholes, mail slots. Weathering strip and C-index is not covered on this page. Barrel bolts are used to lock doors from the inside of the train fastener, permanent, and partial opening of the door. Chain bolts and cane bolts are used to locking garage doors. Door stops come on the rigid types of the rubber tips to prevent damage of the door, and spring type that can be pushed aside of the floor is swept. Latches are used when the key locking is unnecessary. Batches and bronzes are often coated with lacquer to prevent tarnish, but do not polish it. Polishing damages lacquer seal, causes rapid tarnishing. Good serviceable hardware is also always made of steel, and be wary of hardware made of plastic. Plastic resembles polished brass. Alright, knobs and pulls, drawers, pull handles come in a broad range of colors, materials, bronze, steel, aluminum, porcelain, wood, plastic. There's no easy way to dress an old piece of furniture than by replacing a knob and handles. They're simple to remove them. All you need to do is a screwdriver. All you remove them before doing any painting or refinishing. Large hardware dealers feature panels display the knobs, handles. They stock other sources of lumber yards they cater to the do-it-yourself trade and mail order houses. Simple screen door. Screen door hardware can be taut and set in containing hinges, door pull, and a hook and an eye to keep doors closed. These, however, are just some of the bare essentials. In addition, a well-equipped screen door will have some part of the door closer or a spring and a snap catch if the door is closer, if not used. In a place of the door closer, you can substitute a spring-loaded hinge, which can be adjusted to increase the decreased spring tension. Do not forget to push the bar to protect the screen. Without one, the screen will vary, some bulge, or ultimately tear. Your storm door. Storm door hardware is similar to the hardware with the screen door. In fact, often two doors are combined so that no extra hardware is required. At the start of the winter, the screen panels are removed and the glass panels are substituted. At the start of the summer, it is reversed. The combination screen of the storm doors are usually sold complete with jams, which are inserted in the front of the door, serving for the house. In addition, feature the snubbering and chain and spring arrangement, which keeps the door from opening too wide, or also cushioning it from opening too forcefully. Alright, door closers. Door closers serve as several valuable purposes. They assure positive closing of the door, prevent wind from opening it, and stop the door from opening too wide, thus forcing the hinge and causing the door to smoothly without clatter. Closers are made in two types of the residential, pneumatic, and hydraulic. As a general rule, all doors facing the outdoors should be fitted with the closer even and light. Screen doors and course storm drawings, because the interior doors operate in different circumstances, they do not require closures. Before attempting to install any type of the door closure, first make certain the door does not bind, that it swings freely in a position that is all accessory hardware, locks, hinges, and chains are in place and secure fastened and will not interfere with the automatic closing of the door. The pneumatic door closer shown below can be adjusted, turned, and slot screwed and centered out of the end cap. Turning it left counterclockwise will allow the door to close faster. Turning it to the right will close the door more slowly. The closer you also fasten the latching hook. Feature at least 3 inches closing accomplished rapidly with a certain door with a latch closed, not stay ajar. The first latching feature can be adjusted and necessary to keep out the door from slamming. To adjust opening with door about 3 inches, holding it open with the hold open washer, the screw of the door bracket, and move it forward away from the closer. That gives you the closer, less closing power. More closing power is needed. The bracket should be moved and forward to the closer. Miscellaneous hardware. Adjustable shelves. Adjustable shelves can be installed in the closet or the wall. Shelves come in the width of 12 inches. They are supported with a movable bracket, screwdriver that hacks off the cut uprights. The length of only of the tools required. Uprights should be spaced no more than 32 inches apart with screwed into the wall studs, because be sure to themselves extend on the 2 inches beyond when the brackets. Uprights can be joined to and from the ceiling. Clip type supports. This is the type of shelf designed for you between the narrow walls, such as the round closets and bookcases and cabinets. Clip-in shelves support fit and recess 1 inch apart with the uprights and can be easily slipped and repositioned to create any space desired. The 2 supports are required at each end of the shelf. Shelf should fit it snugly against side and back. Tension type uprights freestanding. This shelf support is installed independently of the walls. Other supports of any part of the house or room divider of the posts extend from the floor to the ceiling and are held in spring-loaded ends with bear against the ceiling without marring it. They can be used in ceiling heights up to 8 feet and 2 inches. Supporting blocks can be added into the ceiling and a few inches higher. Alright, adhesive. Choosing the right adhesive is a seemingly limitless variety of adhesive with the right type of the brand of the market, but it may also be called all-purpose adhesive, the formulated with the bond and white variety of material. There is also extended with the array with a specialty of adhesive that made it had only of a few materials, but to do so with the greatest strength. Best way to determine which adhesive is best for the job is to consider the conditions in which this finish protection will be used. For example, if the object going to be exposed to water just in dampness, does it require extreme strength and rigid flexibility with the end use of the knowledge in mind. Review the tables on these next 2 pages determine whether the adhesive will work best. Waterproof adhesive of the table indicates several glues that are determined waterproof of the various levels of waterproof and the effectiveness of the adhesive of the table. You the waterproof whatever adhesive can withstand the immersion without joint separation under normal household use. Joint preparation, even with the thinnest film with oil with the drift, will keep the adhesive from bonding properly to the bond wood joints. Make certain that they are sanded and they are sanding dust is cleaned away. For bonds between metal, glass, and other non-porous materials which are served with degreasing agents. Tight-fitting joints are critical. Most adhesive require clamping of even a brief period following an initial contact. Conventional clamping techniques are described on page 36 through 38 for repair to glasses. China, you will have to advise the clamping methods. This is usually can be accomplished with masking tape, elastic bands, or small jigs. Loose wood joints can be tightened up by filling the gaps with wood silvers. Cut the scrap size and coat them with glue, then force the pieces into the place with a smaller job gapping filling adhesive. Bonding plastic. Many plastic cements will bond. Variety of plastic formation label usually indicates the adhesive purpose of a typical plastic will bond. It can identify plastic and test a smudge available to cement on the surface and leave it in the air for a few moments before wiping it off. If the cement is etched in the surface of the plastic, it will probably bond well with the material. How do you use the adhesive table? The table on page 86 through 88 are designed to help you select the most adhesive for the job that you are doing. The table at the bottom of the 86 lists the most suitable adhesive types. Most of the housing gluing jobs of the will encounter. The tables provides a detail of the helpful working with each of the adhesive types. Brand names, relative strength, water resistance, and colors are related to each adhesive type by the table of the table 88. Splittable purpose adhesive, their use and brand names are listed on the table bottom at 88. You have acrylic, acrylonitrile, alphacitic, cellulose epoxy, hide glue liquid, hide glue flake, polyvinyl acylate, polyvinyl chloride, resinino, strazino butanoate, and uroformaldehyde, and then it goes into these other pages. And now we're on section 4, making your own interior repairs.